Ross kissed me.
No! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
Unbelievable.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Okay, all right, we want to hear everything. Monica, get the wine and unplug the phone. Okay. Rachel, does this end well or do we need to get tissues?
Oh, it ended very well.
Oh, do not start without me! Do not start without me! Okay, all right. Let's hear about the kiss. Was it like a soft brush against your lips, or was it like a, you know, I gotta have you now kind of thing?
Well, at first it was really intense, you know, and then, oh God, and then we just sort of sunk into it.
Oh, so, okay, was he holding you, or was his hands like on your back? And, you know?
No, actually, first they started out on my waist, and then they slid up, and then they were in my hair.
Oh.
And then I kissed her.
Tongue?
Yeah.
Cool.
Why do you think they make like the comparison between the two? So why have they like separated the girls and the boys, do you think? Like how come they're making that like comparison?
Because they're playing on the stereotype, and it's much funnier to have the boys and girls separately.
Yeah.
So they can play into that stereotype and have, especially doing the girls first, because it's so over the top, and then the guys are all like, huh, yeah. And that kind of the stark contrast, because also like that's what everyone knows that boys and girls are like.
Yeah, see that's what everybody knows, that's the stereotype.
Yeah.
But do you think like these sorts of shows, like making it into like comedy, do you think that like
I think
makes the stereotype...
This perpetuates the stereotype and makes the stereotype more of a reality.
Yeah.
Like I think we expect and then we copy what they do because there are stuff like this on TV. Because we see that they do it. So we just, I say we subconsciously...
Yeah, like watching that has made me just think, oh, the girls' night.
Yeah.
In the wine.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of looks like fun, and we just expect that's what boys do. And I don't know if boys...
I was going to
Yeah,
say...
what do boys do?
I was going to say that is so realistic. Like, 'cause I was watching the girls, and it lasted for like a few minutes, and the guys' clip was about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And
all
the
your
guys would
conversations
get to
literally
the
like that.
specifics very quickly.
Yeah, well,
Do
like
you
girls want every
Yeah, do you think
detail.
you're like that because... More
be
because you see lots of stuff like that, and that's what you grew up expecting your conversations to be like?
I think guys are very like one-dimensional. I think they just want the specifics, the details, and then they're not really bothered about the stuff around the side.
So it's more like you want information and like not much kind of emotional like kind of...
Yeah, no, we don't want any sort of emotional baggage, not going on.
No feelings.
No emotion, guys. That's the problem. But
It's
yeah.
interesting, isn't it? And like, what do you think about how they've made the female characters like their pitch is very like high, and they've got like rising like intonation at the end of their like sentences, and do you think that's kind of like highlighting like just...
It drives home the differences because they sound more feminine and the guys sound more masculine.
Yeah, like the guys are focused on just eating, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like they're eating a pizza. It's not like
But
they're
the
just
girls
sat
are
around.
focused on
Yeah.
like the point of their conversation was to discuss it, whereas the point of their conversation was just something to do while they're eating.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like you're saying, like it's all part of storytelling. Like girls, when they say it, it's just like a complete
Actions.
story.
She was
going
doing
on.
actions and stuff,
Mm.
whereas Ross was just eating a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that is a little bit damaging for like male, like, because it's all like subscribing to like masculinity, isn't it? I think that's kind of like, and the language, you know, that it means to be like masculine. Like,
It's kind of like...
it's quite damaging.
Yeah, it's a part of that thing where it's like, well, males just can't share a lot, and like with that kind of thing, like they can't share the details of
They're
it.
not
They can't go.
expected to talk about an event that in that much detail, because then it'll be seen as more feminine.
Yeah.
Which isn't shown here to be a bad thing necessarily, but is shown to be different and not something that men do.
Yeah.
Same with like women, they're expected to be all girly and flirty, like fluttery about it all.
Yeah.
Whereas like, and it's shown that if they weren't like that, they'd be out of the norm.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
especially like at this time, like during like the 90s, the early 2000s, like now, like people encourage men to talk more.
Yeah.
Not necessarily about this kind of thing, but even so, like it's still this idea that men don't talk about their feelings.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I think it's a thing about romance as well, isn't it? That men are like, to be a man, it's like, oh yeah, I shrug off romance.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not really
non-romantic.
that
It's more about
bothered.
the like, because their one question was, oh, tongue.
Yeah.
It was more of a sexual thing, whereas the girls, it's more romantic. How did he hold you? Was it
Yeah.
good? Do I need tissues? We need wine for this. It's a lot more of a thing.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
They're making it a thing.
yeah,
Like, I think it perpetuates stereotypes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And makes it.
definitely
the
does.
stereotype
Yeah.
already exists. This is kind of building on it, making it seem normal, rather than like you watch it and you know it's a stereotype, but at the same time it's not that weird. It's like that's
Yeah.
what everybody does.
But
That's what we now all think, but actually that is quite odd.
It's interesting that now it's on Netflix, like everything's sort of, there's been a lot more like articles about it, and there's been a lot more like controversy over the language they use and like the
Yeah.
stuff that they're portraying, especially with like sex and language and
Because they often, Chandler's a really, I mean you don't see it in this, but Chandler's a really interesting example about the way they treat men who act feminine, because he's often seen as, oh Chandler, are you sure you're not gay? Because he has a lot
That's
of
so true.
stereotypical feminine
Yeah.
traits
yeah.
sometimes that he does, and then he's like, oh no,
No, it was like the
I'm
episode
gay.
where he was just like, well, why do you think I'm gay? And then everybody's just like, you just have a certain quality.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, well, they're defining this quality as like completely exterior and how they act
Yeah.
and stuff. And it's just like,
And do you think like there were things like that as well? It's like it's what the script writers and like the writers are like using within like the language they use as well. Like, do you think it's a lot of, obviously like the one where Joey has the man bag, so it's a lot of like visual stuff. But do you think it's also like the language is important, like in like making the differences between the and then like Chandler? Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Chandler's always like, God, like, isn't he? Like, girls do that, they like exaggerate how they say stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
When I'm
intensify,
whining, I
yeah.
always like drag out my
Yeah.
words. But like none of the other like men do it, do they?
that's so true.
Yeah.
And the tone as well was like quite interesting. I think Ross was like, and then I kissed her, as if like it's just really nothing. Like,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
kind
Which
of
is very
That's
interesting
true.
because you've seen him for the past 2 seasons, for the past season, going on and on about how much he likes Rachel. It's a running thing. He really, really, really likes her. Rachel's completely the opposite, and yet she's the one that's gushing about it, and he's the one that's just brushing it off as a like a nonchalant thing, which actually seems out of character. If you looked at it purely from the way that you'd expect a character to act, a character who's loved someone for that long, their
You'd
reaction
expect them to be more
should have
excited,
been
yeah.
way more excited, way more like, oh my god, I can't believe this has happened.
Yeah.
But because they want to make that more of a stereotype, like that's out. I would say that would be an out of character thing.
Yeah.
It goes back to the idea that men don't share
Because
stuff,
sometimes
like
he
how they
does
feel.
go like really excited when he talks about stuff.
But also when he speaks to women, like if he's speaking to Monica or the other girls, he'll talk about Rachel in more of like an open manner and like really kind
Yeah.
of gushes a bit
Yeah,
more.
that's
But
so
when it's
interesting.
with the guys, it's like, yeah. Like,
Do you think that sound like when
Yeah.
it's
No
so
doubt
different
about
between
it.
when
I interact with you lot
Yeah.
way differently than
Yeah.
I do with my like brothers. Or, like,
Yeah.
when
so
men
more
speak to men,
charismatic.
it's so different to
It's
when
so
men
funny.
speak to women.
Yeah.
Like the language they use, like they're more probably open and like descriptive. I think that's the other thing. There's
Yeah.
so many, like you said, there's so many descriptive like
Terms being used.
yeah that you know just aren't there in the men. In
No.
the, in the
It is
men.
changing though. Like I do watch this, and like I've got some friends who are men who don't talk like that. But like obviously it's still a thing.
Yeah.
But it is slightly different.
Yeah,
You
I
can
do-
tell
I
that our
think so.
language is
It's changing.
Did you also notice that also like their pizza was basically done as if it like only crops up at the end of the conversation? Like this.
God, you looked in on this.
No,
I
it's
didn't even
true.
But the
notice.
girls,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
like at the start, they got
Yeah,
the
so
wine
when she
immediately,
got there,
like, yeah.
she was spilling the
But then
details.
the
Yeah,
pizza
that's
basically
so
finished,
true.
if you just saw that out, yeah. And then
Just like a
It's
throwaway
like-
comment.
Yeah, which again feels completely out of character because
Yeah.
even if he would do it in a masculine way, what we see of Ross is the way he would have banged open that door and gone,
Yeah.
I
my
kissed
God.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Also, I just realised you saying that like the stereotypes with like the wine
Yeah.
and the like Phoebe is not. I don't feel like they've. I feel like they've really stuck to the female like stereotype of Phoebe as well. Like, I didn't think she'd say that. Like
Phoebe doesn't act like that a lot of the other times. And it's
Yeah.
like they've gone for the purpose of the joke, because it's done as a joke, for the
Yeah.
purpose of the punchline, they've taken some of the characters out of character.
Yeah.
yeah.
like Rachel and Monica, they're in
them,
character.
yeah.
Charlie and Joey kind of go, but Phoebe and Ross, like
Yeah.
Phoebe is not the type of person that would go
No.
sort of, right, we need wine. Like she just that doesn't quite feel.
And there are like, although it's for a comedic effect, I do feel like there are consequences for like making that funny. It's like it is making
More
More
light
of
of
it.
separating.
yeah.
Because also, them lot always have dinner together. They're always together. Why is it this
They're
time
not, that
that they're
separated.
separate
Yeah.
as girls and
Yeah.
boys?
They've completely used it to just like juxtapose.
Like for the joke, but then it normalises that kind of behaviour. It
Yeah.
normalises you can't talk
difference.
about things like
Exactly.
this with your friends.
Yeah.
And there are consequences for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's watch the clip of Ross with his son Ben and the Barbie.